Hi, welcome to Scale Model Basics. I'm Tim Kidwell, and let's talk about repairing scratches and imperfections in clear plastic parts. Now, no matter how careful we are with our clear plastic parts, sometimes they end up scratched. They might get scratched because they're rubbing up against other parts in the box. We might accidentally scratch them with a knife or some other tool, or maybe a vinyl rubber tire was sitting up against a clear plastic part and eats into it and leaves a divot. Whatever the case may be, it can be fixed. You don't have to just take that clear plastic part and toss it in the garbage and go, well, it can't be used, I need to replace it. No, there's probably always a way that we can bring that part back and make it usable. So I'm going to show you how to repair a clear plastic part. So what I have here is the windshield and rear window piece from an AMT 1970 Galaxy kit. And, well, staring me right in the face is a scratch. Let's see if we can get that scratch to show up here on camera so you can see it. Where are you? Oh, there it is. There, you can see that scratch right there. You see that? There's that scratch. Now, scratches on clear plastic parts can happen for any number of reasons. You know, maybe we were a little bit careless at the workbench and we nicked it with a knife or another tool, or maybe it's been rattling around inside of a box and rubbing up against other parts. It doesn't mean that that clear plastic part just gets tossed. What we can do is fix it. And what we're going to need initially to start that process is a nice set of sanding pads. Now here I have two sets from Green Stuff World. They run from 180 grit all the way up to 2500 grit. So this is coarse and this is fine, okay? And we're going to run through the majority of these to take out that scratch. So you can see that scratch. Now the first thing that you're going to want to do is assess the depth of any imperfection or scratch that you have on your clear part, right? Because what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to sand that scratch out. Yes, we are going to cause more damage to fix the damage that's already there. But trust me, by the end of this, it's going to be okay, all right? But we have to basically eliminate the depth of that scratch by causing a lot more scratches. However, you don't want to give yourself more work than you need to. So assess the depth of that. And me just rubbing my fingernail across that, it's not super deep. That scratch is not really terrible. So I don't think that I need to go in there with the coarsest grit, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 280 grit. And again, you don't want to cause yourself more work than you need to, so try and just focus on where that scratch is with this initial sanding, because this is going to grow as we go through all of these grits. This area is going to grow as we're eliminating what we've been working on. So, starting with 280 grit, we're just going to go in and we're going to start and what we're doing is we're just working that to make sure that there is no hint of where that scratch was. And you don't have to lay on it hard. That's not the point of this, because you don't want to cause distortion, any more distortion in the plastic than you absolutely need to. And from what I'm seeing there, I don't see any hint of that scratch there anymore. We've done the work with the 280 grit. Now we're just going to go progressively through the coarser grits, and I'm going to show you what that looks like as we move along. So I did notice at this point that I had a couple of circles out here because I wasn't being as careful as I wanted. So it did expand a little bit, but because we're getting into such fine grits, I'm not too worried about it. You can see that we're really clearing that up now. This is the window after 2500 grit, and you can see that that scratch that had been there, it's no longer there.
Do you like what you see here and want more? Subscribe to FineScale Modeler magazine. You'll get 6 issues a year crammed with how-to stories from some of the best modelers around the world. Go to finescale.com/YouTube for a special offer for YouTube viewers like you.
Now, we could, at this point, probably polish this, and it's gonna be okay. But what I'm actually going to do is go a step further and use Alpha Abrasive's micro finishing pads. And this is basically going to pick up right where the 2500 left off with 3200, and I'm going to work through all 6 of these up to 12,000. So the windshield has gone through all 12,000 grits now, and there is just a bit of a haze there, but the scratch that had been in the windshield is definitely now gone. So the final thing to do is to actually use a liquid polish. I'm going to use Novus #2 Fine Scratch Remover, but you can use an automotive polish too. Meguiar's, Tamiya actually makes some polishing compounds that you can use to do this. So we're gonna need the polishing compound and a nice soft cloth. If you've got old t-shirts that you've tossed or are about to toss, just go ahead and slice those up and those will work perfectly. The polish has been applied, now we do some buffing. And that is a clear part that has had a scratch removed from it. Now you can do that same process with canopies, headlights that don't have etching in them. Just about any clear part that's smooth, you can do that with. Just, you need to be careful about how much pressure you're applying. If the plastic is particularly thin, what you may want to do is put silly putty or poster tack or clay or something on the inside to give the plastic support so you don't accidentally shatter the plastic, or crack it, break it, do something like that to it. That's not going to make you happy. So that is how you repair a scratch or an imperfection in a clear plastic part.